Hi there and welcome. My name is Jerry Ashworth. I'm the editor of Thompson Grants, and welcome to Video Corner. Today we're talking to Dan Durst, BDO, and we wanted to ask a couple of questions about what's going on in the grants community these days. First of all, Dan, what are some of the main concerns that grantees are having?
Yeah, so what we're seeing right now, a lot of for-profit first-time grant recipients are now coming into the grant space. And so there's a lot of uncertainty around the administrative requirements that grants come with as opposed to federal government contracts. So a lot of these commercial organizations are reaching out for training through Thompson Grants and other methods to try to really understand some of these clean energy projects that they're going to be implementing, some of the expansion of broadband through the Department of Commerce. All of these projects are going to require annual compliance audits, all of the same administrative requirements that our nonprofits and institutions of higher education are used to.
Right.
And so it's basically like a training up of a completely new subset of federal grant recipients for the first time. So I've been focusing a lot of my attention on that group of clients, really trying to pay special attention to those first-time recipients, some of which are very large commercial corporations, but have just never really dabbled in commercial funding before.
Right.
I think, from what I've heard here as well at the conference today, there's a lot of concern about some of the ARPA-related construction and development-related programs where we're constructing and acquiring new real property, and how that relates to then the federal interest in that real property, right? Does the federal government own a portion of that on the back end? I think there's a lot of unanswered questions there. And as the relief money in those programs, continue to become completed, those are going to be serious questions in terms of disposition, in ownership, title, right? Those are all things that are going to have to be fleshed out over the next 12 to 18 months.
Right. So we're here at the National Grants Management Association 2023 conference, and we're looking forward to some changes coming in later on this year. And I was wondering, Dan, if you could kind of explain some of the changes that we're looking forward to this year.
Yeah. So a lot of key dates coming up, key milestones in the grants community. We've got the Uniform Guidance Revision. As you remember, the last one that was published was in August of 2020. This one, they're actually looking at a potential release of the draft revisions in August of 2023. That's it today, right? So a lot sooner than I think what a lot of people thought. They had, I think, over 2,000 comments received to the revision that was posted in the Federal Register. Right. So I think the term that was used was that they were going to rewrite uniform guidance. And after the room gasped, they kind of pulled that back a little bit and said they're rewriting it for clarity, not to change the actual structure and the requirements that are contained within. So that's going to be really big. The way it was done last time is they issued red line copies of uniform guidance and then asked for comments on those proposed revisions. So that'll be a whole nother comment period that you'll be able to provide your input. I think the ultimate release date that they're looking at to make those effective, I think they were saying was like December of 2023.
Right.
So then if it works like last time, we'd be looking at that being effective in awards issued on or after December 2023. So in your 24 funding, right? So there's also the single audit database transitioning from the Census Bureau previously. The Federal Audit Clearinghouse is now going to be moving over to GSA. They acknowledged that they were a little bit behind on rolling out that tool, but they did say that it would be like a midsummer rollout of that as well. So for all the single audit firms and also single audit recipients and subrecipients, it's important to note that soon you'll be submitting those packages and certifying in a new place. It's just taking more time to roll that out. Yeah.
Great.
There's another one that I think is critically important. There's the compliance supplement. I always like to use the compliance supplement to help my clients, right? You might as well know the auditor's playbook and get an understanding of what are the compliance requirements they're going to test us against when doing the audit. Last year, the 2022 compliance supplement came out in April of 2022. We're in April now. We don't have it just yet, but they said it should be out shortly. So I know that we'll find out from you, Jerry, first when it does come out. So stay tuned to Thompson Grants blog. You'll find it there first, and really looking forward to seeing the level of detail the auditors are going to go into in these fiscal 23 audits. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think there's something else you wanted to mention about the indirect cost rates.
Yeah. So in the August 2020 update to uniform guidance, it had called for all negotiated indirect cost rates for nonprofits and universities to be published on an OMB designated website. I think this caused a lot of concern for those folks because a lot of times it's considered proprietary pricing information for them. It says a lot about the cost structure of the organization. And just today, in speaking with the OMB speaker, they said that there's a potential that could be removed from the revision coming up based on all those kind of negative comments and concerns over the proprietary nature of that information. So none of it's been reported to date in USA Spending. I've been looking; it's not in there, and it may never get reported in there, depending on how these revisions shake out at the end of the summer. So,
Great. Well, there's so much going on. We look forward to seeing what happens later on this year, and we'll keep you informed and let you know the latest.